ZANU-PF has been operating. Since then, when I'm waiting here in South Africa to get my case being disposed of by the courts of this country, they have sent several state security agencies to come and assassinate me here. In their stupidity, they've been sending messages inviting me to meet them in some very strange places to say, Mr. Sikhala, come here. We want to engage you and talk because we support your agenda of resisting Emmerson Mnangagwa, thinking that we are kids in this game. They have despite several teams to come and assassinate me here. Last week I received some security reports from the agencies of the state that they were feverishly looking to make sure that they find myself and eliminate me here in South Africa, and accuse the crime rate of murder in South Africa on a daily basis as the factor that could have caused my assassination here, and run away from it. There was a Zimbabwean a few months ago who was assassinated in Pretoria by the regime agencies after they lured him to go and meet them on some form of business negotiations. So the same tactics are being used to hunt even those who are opposed to ZANU-PF on those who are living and currently domiciled in foreign lands. I received the intelligence report that they were going to make sure that they will continue persisting in their mission to assassinate me here in South Africa. And in the same security report, I also heard that they are looking for one called Jealous Mawarire, whom they want to get their hands on. I also obtained reports that they are looking for a journalist who went and addressed the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva recently, called Blessed Dharamshana. And they are suspecting that he is living here in South Africa at the present moment. So they are hunting for him. So this is the operation of a regime whose end is nearing. No legitimate government, a government with support, will ever hunt for its enemies, even those who are beyond the borders. It is a regime without any legitimacy. On his people. The process that is currently happening in Zimbabwe has overthrown all forms of constitutionalism. Constitutionalism means procedurally following what is required by the Constitution. They are trying to force down the throats of Zimbabweans the nefarious amendments against their will. So we demand the following. As I earlier alluded, the Southern Africa Development Community must immediately, with immediate effect, President Ramaphosa must engage the Zimbabwean regime to follow the requirements of the Constitution and give the people of Zimbabwe an opportunity for them to exercise their right of choice whether they want Emmerson Mnangagwa to continue up to 2030 or not, through a referendum. There must be a referendum in Zimbabwe where the people of Zimbabwe will be able to make their verdict on the future of their country. Number two, that the African Union, in terms of the provisions of its own statutes and also its protocols, has provisions where a constitutional change of government is caused by constitutional manipulation to prolong the term of office of the incumbent. Clearly, in terms of Article 30 of the African Union Constitutive Act, which was ratified and later amplified at the Lome Declaration in 2000, when they simplified on what constitutes unconstitutional change of government. Point number 5 is that any constitutional manipulation to prolong the term of office of the incumbents is a coup. So there is a coup in motion in our country. We, as the National Democratic Working Group, petitioned the African Commission chairperson, advising him about the dangers that are currently happening in Zimbabwe. We followed up our petition last week, waiting for the reply and answer from the African Commission chairperson. We haven't yet obtained anything. If the African Commission chairperson fails to reply our petition, we still got the right for us to approach the African Commission in Bangkok, Gambia, for us to go and drag the Zimbabwean regime in terms of the African Union Constitutive Act, for them to be able to declare that the constitutional amendments that are currently being forced upon the people of Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe constitute an unconstitutional change of government. We are not going to tire or rest. We shall continue to battle. We shall continue to feverishly campaign against the constitutional mutilation that is currently happening in our country. We are also calling upon former heads of state of good standing, like President Thabo Mbeki, like President Ian Seretse Khama of Botswana, like President Olusegun Obasanjo, to speak out against what is happening in the country today. Of course, though I would have some bit of doubts about President Olusegun Obasanjo, because President Olusegun Obasanjo also tried the same issue that is happening in Zimbabwe. He wanted to extend his own term of office, seeking a third term. But after he has been rebuffed by Nigerians, he now knows the challenges and the dangers of attempting to change a constitution to extend your term of office. So having said this, members of the media who have come here in your numbers, we thank you for coming to cover this important press conference. And I know the majority of you will say, are you going to succeed? No one ever thought that the determination of the people of South Africa will succeed to overthrow the mighty apartheid regime. No one ever thought that even a nuclear-powered apartheid regime in South Africa will be overthrown. We will not tire until we deliver the Zimbabwe we want. We want a Zimbabwe where all of us will have opportunities for us to enjoy our country. You see Zimbabweans all over the world. South Africa even has a problem of Zimbabweans who are here. They are not here on their own will, but on the basis of the politics and misgovernance happening across the Limpopo. Is that which has caused South Africa to host almost nearly 5 million Zimbabweans here. At one particular point in time, I was invited by a friend in Northern Cape, in the desert there. And that a friend of mine, a white man, was engaging in the business of drilling boreholes. And he was just saying that here we drill almost 300 to 600 meters down for us to reach the proper water table that will be able to support our water systems here. I found out a Zimbabwean there working for these 5 men in a desert in the Northern Cape. One day I visited Indonesia in Bali. After arriving in Bali and checked out for me to get into Indonesia. The moment I left the gate entrance into Indonesia, I was shocked. Somebody calling me, we were. I said, what is happening here? I looked at my back. I found a Zimbabwean who was sweeping at the Bali International Airport in the Far East Asia, one of the hottest countries you could never imagine. If you go to those countries where having accustomed to our own weather here, you won't be able to survive there without getting sick. I saw a Zimbabwean sweeping at the airport. I said, why are you here? He said, my brother, I left Zimbabwe, I went to South Africa and took a ship to Australia. When we arrived at the shores of Australia, I wanted to go and seek political asylum in Australia. Because I did not have any papers or any documentation, I was turned back. And the ship had to drop me on the shores of Bali here in Indonesia. I had to tell them this is the circumstances that I had been into. And they later allowed me to get into Indonesia, and they've given me a job here for me to be able to survive until I have seen what to do next. This is the level of how Zimbabweans have become a laughingstock in the world. Even if you go to the smallest country in the world, Nauru, you'll find a Zimbabwean there. Not on the basis of want, but on the basis of circumstances in their country. And those circumstances are because of the oppression of the dictatorship in our country. It has not been easy for my people in Zimbabwe. I feel emotional when I see my people being maltreated throughout the world, not because of their own want, but because of a regime in a country that does not respect the will of the people. A regime that does not accept that it is there to service its masses. The regime that is specializing in plunder of the national resources at the expense of its masses. The level of suffering, brothers and sisters, my people are going through in Zimbabwe is unimaginable. I thank all of you for coming here. May God bless all of you. And this is what I have to say.
This is the current situation we are having in our country, Zimbabwe. Munyika medu hamuna kugadzikana. Isusu sekuruka Jones Media tiri kupa kutsvagira inyaya tinouya nenyaya semawanira tinenge tadziita hatiwedzere kana kutapudza. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. I am signing out.